Hey everyone, welcome back to Cronius Maximus. Today we're diving into the blood-soaked demon-slaying chaos of Doom, the Dark Ages, the latest chapter in id Software's legendary FPS franchise. This prequel to Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal just dropped on May 15th, 2025, and it's available on PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and day one on Game Pass. So grab your super shotgun, crank up the metal, and let's rip and tear into this review. No spoilers ahead, just pure unfiltered thoughts. Doom the Dark Ages takes the Slayer to a techno-medieval war against hell, set on the alien world of Argent D. Noor. Think knights in chainmail wielding plasma-powered guns, giant mechs, and a cybernetic dragon. Yeah, it's as metal as it sounds. The vibe is a wild mix of dark fantasy and sci-fi, with sprawling gothic castles and Lovecraftian cosmic realms that look like they're ripped from a heavy metal album cover. The visuals are stunning, powered by id Tech 8, and the soundtrack by Finishing Move keeps the adrenaline pumping. Even if some fans might miss Mick Gordon's signature grit, it's a fresh take on Doom's hellish aesthetic, but it feels unmistakably like the Slayer's playground. Let's talk gameplay, because this is where Duke the Dark Ages slays. Unlike Doom Eternal's aerial acrobatics, this game grounds the Slayer as a tank-like force, emphasizing a stand-and-fight philosophy. The star of the show? The Shield Saw, a chainsaw-edged shield that's both a defensive beast and an offensive game-changer. You can block red attacks, parry green ones for massive damage, or chuck it like Captain America to explode heated enemies or trigger environmental puzzles. The parry window is generous, especially on Nightmare difficulty, and makes it feel like you're a real badass without needing to be a pro. The weapon arsenal is insane. 13 weapons, from the skull-shooting pulverizer to the stake-launching impaler. Each weapon has a distinct role, but is versatile enough to keep combat creative. Melee is beefed up with the flail and power gauntlet, making close-quarters fights feel personal and brutal. The 22-mission campaign, clocking in at 15 to 20 hours, mixes open battlefields, light exploration, and secrets, though some levels feel a bit barren or stretched. Veterans might notice simpler puzzles and less chaotic weapon juggling compared to Eternal, but the combat loop is still fast, rewarding, and gloriously violent. New to the series are Atlan Mech and Dragon Riding sections. Hey, which sound cool, but feel clunky. The mech's slow punch fests and the dragon's stiff flying controls are more cinematic than fun, breaking the game's relentless pace. They're brief, thankfully, and don't overshadow the core FPS action, which remains top tier. The story's also more prominent, with cutscenes and lore about the Slayer's past, the Sentinels, and the Makers. It's surprisingly engaging for a Doom game, but keep in mind, hey, it's not Shakespeare. It's still about pointing you towards that next demon horde. So, is Doom the Dark Ages worth your time? Hell yeah! It's a ferocious, visually spectacular shooter that reinvents Doom's formula without betraying its roots. The shield saw and melee focus make every fight feel visceral, and the techno-medieval setting is a bold, bloody twist. It's not perfect, the mech and dragon bits underwhelm, and some maps lack eternal spark, but id Software's still the king of the FPS genre. I'm giving it an 8.5 out of 10. Whether you're a Doom veteran or a newcomer, this is a must-play for anyone craving high-octane action. So that's it. That's my take on Doom, the Dark Ages. What do you guys think? Are you loving the Shield Saw, or is it missing Eternal's chaos? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button. Hey, if you enjoyed the review, please subscribe. Find us again. Appreciate your time. Don't want to waste it. Let's make the most of it. Peace out.
about. All the secrets. Congratulations. So.